Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 News at 5.
The Mosher Creek fire in the gorge has burned 800 acres. The Oregon Department of Forestry says the fire was likely human-caused. ODF says it's wind-driven and pushing to the east today, still threatening homes. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Jacqueline Mazur. FEMA did authorize federal funds to help with the fire as requested by the state. So far, the fire burned 800 acres and it's 5% contained. At least 4 structures are burned. Governor Kate Brown declared the fire a conflagration, clearing the way for the state fire marshal to mobilize firefighters and equipment to assist local resources battling the fire. So far, 8 task forces from around the state are helping out. They enforced a staggered arrival throughout the day today due to the coronavirus. Crews on the ground are supported by large air tankers and helicopter water drops. One family near Mosher Creek lost everything. 4 generations lived in a property where fire crews are trying to get a containment line around that fire. 1 home and 2 vintage trailers are now gone. No one was hurt. July Mouse says the fire came up the hill very quickly. She says the family had to get out fast.
Yeah, I noticed smoke and so who could possibly be burning right now, and got a little bit closer and realized it was a bad fire. And then I got a phone call from my son when I was just about a quarter mile away, and I told him, you know, grab a bag if you can. We're getting in the car. Pulled up over here and got the dogs in the car, got the kids in the car. My brother helped hook up our travel trailer.
Fire officials say the fire spread quickly Thursday through dry grass, oak, and pine trees. Their biggest concern this afternoon are the winds. Well, regional, local, and volunteer crews are all helping with this fight, and many worked through the night. Genevieve Rium from our sister station in Portland shares these new images tonight.
New video takes us directly to the front line of the Mosher Creek fire. These shots came from Myrna Anderson's husband, a volunteer firefighter.
He was called out yesterday afternoon at 4 o'clock.
He was there overnight. What have you been hearing from him?
Not a lot, actually. Can't get too much communication with him, but
he's been busy.
He's been very busy.
He and many others worked through the night while the fire scorched trees and taunted homes. Her husband helped protect 1 house, but we know many other buildings burned.
There are a lot of houses up in there, a lot of people evacuated.
Myrna has friends who had to get out. Her house is safe, but in the gusty gorge, those here know it's all up for grabs. Does it scare you at all how close it is?
Not right now, but they say the wind is going to shift this weekend, so I hope it's out before that.
Wildfires aren't anything new in this area. They happen annually, but still, people who live here say waiting for wildfire season to start has them on pins and needles. And again, ODF says they believe this fire was human-caused.
Now make sure to stay with us tonight for any breaking developments on the Mosher Creek fire. Of course, when we're not on the air, we continue to bring you the latest developments on our website, NBC16.com, and on our Facebook page at KMTR News. Well, taking a live look tonight over Eugene. Sunny skies remain across western Oregon today as our fire potential does grow. Chief Meteorologist Josh Cozart has our first look at weather.
Today's day 1 of our latest warming trend, 80s through the I-5 corridor, 60s and 70s out along the coast. In the 90-plus degree days, we've already got a few in the bank, 14 and 21 for Eugene and Roseburg. A lot of colors here lighting up on our map. We'll zoom and dissect them. That purple color through the Willamette Valley, excessive heat warning Saturday through Sunday. The hot pink, that's going to be fire weather warnings for much of the day on Fridays. Breezy conditions plague much of western Oregon. Heat advisories out along the coast for Coos County, and that purple again through the I-5 corridor, excessive heat warnings. And the lack of moisture in the air with our relative humidity values even today into the 19th percentile for the southern Willamette Valley, not helping our fire potential as high levels remain. But Douglas County will be bouncing up to that extreme category once we press into tomorrow. Overnight lows tonight falling into the 50s, more sunshine for tomorrow, but we are talking about that excessive heat in detail coming up in my full forecast.
Well, it's been 48 hours since the Pac-12 postponed the 2020 fall sports season. The league will have a great deal to figure out before the anticipated restart date on January 1st. But some Oregon football student athletes will also have some big decisions to make in the meantime. NBC 16's Maria Santora joins us live from Autzen Stadium with those updates. Maria.
With everything on pause, the draft-eligible Ducks will have some deciding to do. They could either return for a possible spring season, or they could declare for the NFL draft and begin their training early. However, head coach Mario Cristobal says none of his guys have chosen to opt out of the 2020 season so far. In fact, he says his guys have been using every bit of this extra time to the team's advantage.
The not surprising part, the kind of interesting part is, we do have the ability to train during this time, but we've made the decision that, hey, you have access to the facility, do what you want. I come out there and just about everybody's out there training and running around. So it's pretty unique what we have here. In this industry, rarely is there a pause where you can actually improve. I feel that our guys are of that type of a DNA. We're going to take advantage of that. That's going to be a huge point of emphasis. And watching them work, watching them push, watching them finish drill to drill, seeing that they retain so much from the season, so much from the spring. I think this team's going to be ready for anything that's thrown its way down the line in the future.
Athletic Director Rob Mullins was also on the call with some updates, one of which being, despite the anticipated $50 to $80 million financial hit, cutting any of the department's 20 athletic teams would be a, quote, last resort. So some good news there. Reporting live from Autzen, Maria Santora, back to you.
All right, thanks for that report, Maria. Well, turning to coronavirus pandemic now in Oregon, the Oregon Health Authority reports 294 new confirmed and presumptive COVID-19 cases and 8 new deaths, bringing the state total to 22,300 COVID-19 cases and 383 deaths since the pandemic started. Multnomah County reported the most cases today with 84. Now we're learning more about the spread of coronavirus here in Lane County. Lane County Public Information Officer Devin Ashbridge says community transmission is higher than average throughout the summer. Last week, Lane County saw a 39% community transmission rate. That's more than 10% higher than the average. 35.6% from those community transmission cases were linked to small gatherings like barbecues. Devin warns it's important to maintain the community transmission under control, or else case rates will go up.
That often those events don't maintain the mask wearing and the distancing that are so important in limiting the spread. And then those types of backyard barbecues can easily become the nexus for multiple cases.
Lane County reported 611 total cases. Only 34 patients are currently infected and 2 are hospitalized. There are now 4 deaths, the latest being a 70-year-old from Eugene Springfield area who died yesterday at McKenzie-Willamette Medical Center. Meantime, there will be 2 more free testing events next week. That's Tuesday at Norma Pfeiffer Park in Coburg and Thursday at Mohawk Valley Rural Fire District headquarters in Springfield. Testing starts at 4 p.m. People are encouraged to bring their insurance cards, but insurance is not required for testing. Well, a follow-up tonight, a ruling issued in a lawsuit filed by North Bend residents against the city of North Bend and the Water Board involving the city's public safety fee. 3 citizens were suing the city and Water Board, claiming the imposition and collection of the public safety fee was illegal. On July 31st, a judge dismissed all the claims, saying the city was authorized under its city charter to create the fee and have the Water Board collect it.
It's nice to know that we knew what we were doing. And I guess now it's nice to know that the greater public, who might have had doubts, should rest easy that the city and the city council knew what they were doing and were completely above board in how they did things.
We contacted the Oregon Law Center representing the plaintiffs for comment, but we have not heard back. In May, voters in North Bend approved a measure to reduce the public safety fee, a move that had the city considering no overnight police service. O'Connor says he has submitted a recommendation to the city council to keep the city pool closed and use those funds for public safety.
It costs the general fund, depending upon the year, anywhere between $330,000 of subsidy up to $500,000 worth of general fund monies. And so rather than put those toward the pool, put it towards public safety.
The city pool is closed now because of COVID-19 restrictions. O'Connor says the city council is reviewing his recommendation. Coming up next on NBC 16 to 5, Breonna Taylor's family meets with state and city leaders when the family attorney hopes to see charges filed against the officer involved in her death. Plus, local breweries are struggling to purchase aluminum in an effort to can more beer than before due to COVID-19. The details.